said no, which means that I couldn't get away without seeing what's up. If it was someone I knew whose car had broke down, I could have biked up to the house and grabbed the gas can. Or just got my dad to come help out.
Hi, I'm Christine from RPTV, and today we're doing an interview for the theater production Kolshena. Tell me a little bit about the production.
The production is a Native Earth performing arts production. Native Earth is 30 years old. We're Canada's oldest professional Indigenous theatre company. And Kolshena is our featured work in the coming season. We're super excited. It's actually a piece that's inspired by a girl who went missing in 1978. It's inspired by her story. It's not exactly factual. What happened basically was that Monica went missing in 78, and her remains weren't found until 1995, which is the year she would have turned 30. So up until that time, her friends and family retained this hope that she would come home one day. And in the way that when we miss people, we imagine their lives, they imagined her into becoming a 30-year-old woman. So in many ways, that was when their imagining of her, the furtherance of her life, ended.
So can you tell me a little bit about your experience as starring in this role?
Yeah, it's something completely different than I've ever taken on before. It's my first solo show, and it's fun to, I get to be younger than I am in real life, and I get to portray someone who is very real in a lot of ways, so that can be very affecting on the emotions.
Sarah Lise is on stage the whole time with only a bike and this brilliant design by Andy Morrow. And the bike, it starts to become dismembered. And the reason for that is because when Monica went missing, she was literally a minute and a half bike ride from home. And she had just got a brand new bike. And all they found of her was her bike, like, thrown into the bushes. So the bike survived and Monica didn't.
So the production is supposed to be taking place in the 1970s. Is it difficult for you to mentally step back into that time set and to kind of be living in the 70s, like, through the performance? Is it a difficult transition for you?
Well, actually, it's taking place kind of in a sort of limbo of time and space. So Monica went missing in the 70s, in the late 70s. So her real life experience of the world stopped then, but she's still spiritually been around and observing other people living their lives. So for me, it wasn't so much it wasn't very difficult for the time, but it's the age that kind of is the thing that's removed from myself.
Do you have any additional comments about how this adaptation has been happening?
As the writer and director, it's a little bit of a stretch for me. I was born in the 70s, so I was very small in the 70s, but my recollection, I think because we're such products of television, and much of the TV that we got back in the day was from the States, and they would be later run TV shows, the aesthetic sort of the 70s I sort of got. And it's also that interesting thing where, because I was, I left the 70s when I was 5, and because Monica was known to be such a good girl and so beloved, it was very easy for me to consider that kind of idyllic time and write her good memories with great joy and happiness, so that the contrast of what ended up happening to her we have a good way to go, which is important in theater.
I would like to thank you so much for letting us interview you. This has been Christine with RPTV.
And so, it's still there, the sun, even though it seems like the world is gone dark. I seen the brightest outline of sun shine out onto earth. And I remember, felt like that chair I was sitting in felt big.